Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It is time for the NXT Event Center from events from the NXT Wrestling Show on the CW Network, plus matches from NXT Level Up. And now, here's the host of the show, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. You saw a new intro for my NXT Level Up event center. That's why I'm moving NXT Level Up from Fridays to Tuesdays. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that way we can have all the NXT action in one place. So that's why I decided to do from here on in. And if you check it out, there was a new NXT logo, and I figured I might as well use that. So why the heck not? So a new thumbnail, new logo, new thumbnail, new intro, and I hope everybody's okay. Hope everybody's feeling blessed. Now, before we get to the actual what happened on NXT last night, we're going to go to this past Friday's NXT Level Up. Couple of matches. A couple of matches happened. Tatum Paxley against Callie Armstrong. And Callie Armstrong decided to take a couple of dolls away from Paxley's mom, who was in attendance, and throw him down. That made Paxley upset, kind of motivated her, and she beat Callie Armstrong. So Tatum Paxley picks up the victory. Stevie Turner was talking to Gallus about them facing Cutler James and Shiloh Hill, who's starting to form a team. And then as Cutler James was talking to Shiloh Hill about how to get their hands on Gallus, Mr. Stone talks to them, hey, you got your guys got yourself a tag match against Gallus. They were really excited. And they had the tag match at the main event, but Gallus came out on top. Wolfgang and Mark Coffey were the two gentlemen that were fighting for Gallus. Now let's talk about last night, what happened on NXT. Tony D'Angelo's got to do his championship celebration as becoming the new North American champion. Obafemi interrupts D'Angelo and decides wants his rematch of Halloween Havoc. He spins the wheel. It's a tables, ladders, and scares match, basically a TLC match in Halloween mode. So that's good. So that's what the wheel is back. Byron Saxton filling in for Sarah Schreiber. I think Sarah Schreiber's doing some announcing for NXT Level Up because Kelly Kincaid is pregnant and she's on maternity leave. And in fact, Elton Prince and Kelly Kincaid just had a baby recently, so that's why you saw a lot of Sarah Schreiber on NXT as of late. He interviewed Ora Mensa, and then he doesn't get Lexis King, this old gentleman's duel, and Lexis King interrupts him, and basically the gentleman's duel is like an NWA, old school NWA match. You can't throw anybody over the top rope and all that good stuff. So there's that. Women's action, Stephanie Vicaire from Chile making her debut, going up against Ren Sinclair of No Quarter Catch Crew. And Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, the women's champ, were watching the match backstage. And then after the match was over, when Vicaire did pick up the victory, Perez and Jay decided to come out to attack her, but then Julia decided to even things up, and then Vicaire said, hey, you two versus us two in Halloween Havoc. And so they thought, and so that was another match officially happening in that women's tag team matchup. Trick Williams talks to Kaylani Jordan and asking Kaylani Jordan what it's like being the North American Women's Champion. She said, I'll find out my contenders and my challengers. And then Fatal Influence was listening into the convo. And then Carmen Petrovic and Brinley Release were talking, and Ashante the Adonis interrupts them, apologizing to Carmen Petrovic. Sean Spears and Brooks Jensen interrupts Adonis, and then Adonis got upset when Petrovic and Reese walk out, and then all of a sudden, gets in Brooks Jensen's face. Mr. Stone breaks things up. And then the gentleman's duel, Ora Mensa versus Lexis King. This matchup was a straight-up wrestling matchup, but in the end, Lexis King ends up winning the match. Javon Evans was talking to Cedric Alexander, and Nathan Frazier Axiom interrupts them. and said, hey, you held your own against Randy Orton. That was a really cool matchup. And Wesley interrupts the four men, starts arguing with Evans. As you know, Wesley and Javon Evans were 2 of the 3 men in that triple threat. And then the Meta Girls, Lash Legend Jakara Jackson, the Metaphor, was talking about Damage Control's Io Sky and Kairi Sane. And this is a big deal. And that they want to be back. You know, some people predicted that Halloween Havoc, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair could defend the tag titles against Damage Control and the Meta Girls in a triple threat. We'll see if that match actually happens, if that was the case. Then did an NXT profile and returned Nikkita Lyons. It was as you know, Nikkita Lyons, one of the most gorgeous, capricious ladies in NXT. And a lot of people were hyping up this matchup to be the battle of the bootylicious, so to speak. And as Nikkita Lyons went one-on-one with Lola Vice in Nikita's first match back, Jada Parker got involved during the matchup, distracting Lola Vice, costing her the match against the returning Nikkita Lyons. Ava talks to Vaquer and Julia, says, hey, you know what, that's a match, that's a heck of an idea, let's make that match happen. And then Fatal Influence, says, oh, you just have to ask, just like that, they have a legit reason. And in fact, they said, where's our title match? They want a shot at the NXT North American title, on women's title. He said, hey, I'll tell you what, and Ava goes, I'll tell you what, next week, if you can beat Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, you get your title match. Okay, fine. So, Riley Osborne against Ridge Holland one-on-one, and Ridge Holland ended up winning the matchup. And then Holland attacked Osborne after the matchup. The Hale screaming to stop. And then Andre Chase returns and fights off Holland. And then Byron Saxton interviews Tatum Paxley about her feud with Wendy Chu. But Jada Parker and OTM interrupt her, and Paxley was not very happy about that. And but Wendy Chu was stalking Paxley in the background. Then Ashanti the Adonis went one-on-one with Brooks Jensen with Sean Spears at ringside. Carmen Petrovic appeared at ringside and picked up the torn roses and then dropped them. But that kind of hyped them up. But Sean Spears got involved, costing Ashanti the Adonis the matchup as Brooks Jensen picks up the victory. Delta is on her way to NXT. Question is, who is she going to target? Maybe Keilani Jordan better be holding on to that North American title. Lexis King was talking to both the North Quarter Catch crew and the D'Angelo family about celebrating his victory. And so, but then the D'Angelo family discusses Oba's challenge at Havoc. Well, she's like tables, eyes, and scares. And then Luca Crucifino goes, it's in basically an anything goes match. Let me take them on next week to tell, and then Tony D'Angelo goes, okay, we'll see what you got, And next week, 2 big women's tag team title matches. Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane against the Meta Girls. That will be Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Julia and Stephanie Vaquer versus Fatal Influence, 2 of the 3 members. This is going to be very interesting. A lot of people have been hyped up and say, listen, Io Sky and Kairi Sane and Julia in the same show next week. It's going to be insane. Need that interaction. And then the main event, the number 1 contenders triple threat match. Javon Evans versus Wesley versus Ethan Page. Winner of that match will face Trick Williams at Halloween Havoc. Trick Williams was watching the match from backstage. And this was a heck of a matchup. Javon Evans had Wesley pinned until Ethan Page went over and ended up pinning him. So Ethan Page gets his rematch. He's calling out, he's going to spin the wheel, the Havoc wheel. And it landed on a Devil's Playground match. It means basically anything goes, like a street fight, basically. And Page decided to attack Williams from behind with some kind of light bulb or something like that. I don't know, one of those spotlights. And then takes the title and lifts it up over his head. Excuse me. It's been a tough week. And that is it for NXT. So, as you know, Halloween Havoc is the 27th. So, it's on a Sunday. So, anything goes at that point. So, we'll see what happens there. Now, that is all the time we have on this show. Episode 1744 of Eric Lima's Shenanigans of 1977. Let's see if I'm right about that. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. And next up will be the Joker's Wild when I pull that one-on betting against that rotten devil. Speaking of devils, let's see if I can beat him. And that's it. So, you guys have a great and wonderful day. And until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.